when you say we are fetching the data from the child to parent, the question here is, if I have one lookup field, using that lookup field, how many parents I can refer? One lookup will have only one parent. One master detail field will have only one parent. So using a lookup field or a master detail field, I can refer to only one parent. So when I am saying child to parent, using one lookup, I can refer to only one parent. When I say parent to child, the scenario was different. One parent may have number of child record. But when I do vice versa, child will have only one parent. Are you clear? Right. So let us have quick diagrammatical representation. Let us have quick diagrammatical representation. So look at this. I have a parent, child. I have a parent field, child field. Let us see here. Now we are going to say R field. It is a lookup field. Now both these objects are connected using a lookup field or a master detail field. When you are trying to write the SQL query, the question is that field, is the R field is standard field or custom field? Is that R field is a standard field or a custom field? Now R field, what I am using, is it a standard field or a custom field? Is the R field what I have, is it a standard field or a custom field? Now look at the point. If the R field is a standard field, if R field is a standard field, then how you write the SQL query? Look at the point. List of child is equal to select child field 1, child field 2. Then I told R field dot parent field 1, R field whatever the relation field we have, that relation field name dot parent field 1, parent field 2. Whatever the relation we have, that relation field dot parent field 1, parent field 2. Provided if that R field is a standard field. The relation can be created by using standard field or a custom field. If the Salesforce has created this particular R field, then we are going to use R field dot parent field 1, parent field. Let us take an example here. If I take account and contact objects, look at the point: build, customize, build, customize. Then we have contact. On the contact, I have lookup field. What is the name of the field? Lookup field. So what is this? Account. So using this lookup field, both of them are connected. We are supposed to use field label or field name. In the program, we are always supposed to use field name. What is the name of the field? Account. The name of the field is account. So what is this object? On the contact object, I have a field called account, which is a lookup. Using this, I am going to refer to the data from the parent. So how do you write the SQL query now? It is going to be list of contacts equal to select last name, first name, account dot name, account dot industry from contact. This is what I am going to define. We have here this is what I give: account dot name, account dot industry from contact. Similarly, I am going to take opportunity and account. If you go to opportunity object, look at this. People are supposed to listen, not to copy. Okay. While I ask you to write the program. You write while I ask you to read, listen. You listen when I ask you to write. There is a reason you will be unprepared for next 6 months. Right. Opportunities. In the opportunities, what is this opportunity object? In the opportunity object, what I have? The field called account, which is a lookup. Then, how do you write a query? List of opportunity list equal to select name, stage name. Then I have account dot name, account dot opportunity. I hope you got the point here. These relations are already established. This is how we have created. This is what? Child to parent SQL query. Now, write a SQL query to fetch case with the corresponding account data. Case with corresponding account data. Write a SQL to get case with the corresponding account data. Case with account. Get the case with the account data. Now, how did you define it? List of select subject priority account dot name from. Then let us go to the next one. Get group. Okay, we can give. People are done with this. We can go to the next one. Opportunity line item with opportunity. Get the write a circular query to fetch the opportunity line item with corresponding opportunity data. Opportunity item with opportunity. In the last class, we already done fetching opportunity with opportunity item. I asked you to do vice versa. Then we are going to give opportunity line item. Select ID, name, quantity, opportunity dot name. This is how we have created. I hope you are good with this. Let us go to the next one. Let us go to the next one. We are going to understand what if that R field is a custom field. Now, till now we have seen if R field is a standard field, what if that R field is a custom field? If the R field is a custom field, then we are going to give list of child result equal to select R field underscore underscore R dot parent field 1. Underscore underscore R field 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 underscore underscore R. Okay. Now let us see. They have two objects here. Payment. Here I have mode of payment, amount, transaction date, which is a lookup to account. Now, write a SQL query to fetch payment along with the corresponding account data. Where is SOQL to get payment along with the corresponding account data. Where is SOQL to get payment along with the corresponding account data. Where is SOQL to get payment along with the corresponding account data. List of payment. Select mode. The name of the field is customer. The name of the field is customer, so we have used customer underscore R. Name of the field is customer, so we have used customer underscore R. Name of the field is customer, so we used customer underscore R. Right. Let us go to the next one. Now, customer. Type of loan. Amount. Lookup. Now, here we have customer last name. Right. So, write a query now. Loan with the corresponding customer data. Right. People have done that. is the relation? Customer underscore underscore r dot last name, customer underscore underscore r dot first name, customer underscore underscore r dot phone number, right? Let us go to the next one. Now, we are trying to understand the next concept, which is called aggregate function. I hope everybody is good with this. Child to parent, parent to child. If there are two lookup fields, I can refer to two parent data. If there are three lookup fields, I can refer to three parent data. Each field will refer to one parent. Okay. Now, next one is aggregate functions. What is this aggregate function? Name itself say they are going to perform aggregate operation. Now, what are the aggregate operation? Count, sum, min, max, average. The name itself says aggregate means count, sum, min, max. Count, sum, min, max, average. If you want to perform aggregate operation, then we go for aggregate result. Whenever we write a SQL query will give you list of records. But if you are using aggregate function, SQL query will give you aggregate result. What was this aggregate result? It is also standard object. It will give you a result in the form of aggregate result. What is this aggregate result? It is one of the standard object. Now I will give you quick points here. Look at the point before we go forward with the aggregate function. A quick revision of a topic which will support the aggregate functions. If I want to create an account ACC equal to this is how we create. The next one, account ACC equal to new account. Account ACC equal to new account. Here what I am doing, name equal to right. So this is what we got. Third format, both of them are same, right? We are getting. Third format of creating is account ACC equal to. Now, if you know which data you are entering, we can use this first format or second format. If you don't know which field you are going to enter, you don't know which field value you are going to enter, you don't know which field value you are going to enter. In that case, I'll ask ACC dot put name of the field, this is what we got. Name of the field, phone of the field. Name of the field, phone of the field. So I can give the first format, second format, or third format. All the three are same. Are you clear? Okay. Now the reason of why I am giving here is we are going to use the third format in this aggregate result. I told you aggregate result is a standard object. I told you aggregate result is a standard object. Aggregate result is a standard object. Okay. In that standard object, how to insert the data, how to get the data. Now if you say ACC dot put name, I can also say get off. Now the value of the field can be a string or a decimal or I am not sure. There is a reason you have to give ACC dot get off name field. Whatever the value we are getting, convert the value in the form of string. Why? The value of the field can be a string, value of the field can be a decimal, value of the field can be a date, value of the field can be a lookup, value of the field can be a number, I am not sure what is the field value. Now, always can you say the field value is going to be a string? Field value is going to be a decimal? I am not sure. The value may be anything. I am not prepared to handle it. I don't know what type of value you are going to insert. So that's the reason while taking the data, we have to convert into original format and use. Alright, this is the point. Now listen to this concept carefully. We got a couple of functionalities here. First, count. What is this count? Count will give you count of number of records which are written by the SQL query. Count of number of records, count of number of records, count of number of records which are written by the SQL query. Count of number of records which are written by the SQL query. Okay. Now let us see this. Now we have query editor. Select count from. Now what is the value we got? 16. It gives you count of number of records written by the SQL query. What type of value it is giving? Integer value. What type of value it is giving? Integer value. What type of value it is giving? Integer value. What type of value it is giving? Integer value. Now let us see. Select count of rating from account. Now, how many we got here? 9. There are 9 records in which rating value is entered. Out of 16 records, only 9 records have the value of rating entered. Remaining records are not entered. Out of 16, 7 records doesn't have the value of a rating. 9 records have the value of a rating. Count of field, it will give you count of field. Count of field, it will give you count of number of records whose value, for which the value of this field is entered. Count of number of records for which the value of this field is entered. Okay. Now next, I am giving sum of amount from opportunity. It is going to sum up the amount. It is going to sum up the amount. Then we have max of amount, min of amount, average of amount. Sum of amount, meet your mics. Sum of amount, max of amount, min of amount, average of amount from opportunity. Right. So what are these? Aggregate operation. What is this? Aggregate operation. What was this? Aggregate operation. What was this? Aggregate operation. It will give you summarized values based on the function what we are using. Sum of the given field, average of given field, min of given field, max of given field. Are you clear? So whenever we are writing a SQL query with aggregate functions, it is going to give you result in the form of aggregate. Whenever we are going to write a SQL query with aggregate function, result will come in the form of aggregate result. Now, if it is aggregate result, how will you take it? Listen to the point. Select sum of amount. I have to give alias name because there is a value. How will you refer to that value? Sum of amount will give a value. It's not a field. It is a value. How will you refer that value? I have given alias name. Then I have max of amount. from opportunity. Right. So we are getting. So how do you refer to this? If you want to refer to this, decimal total equal to decimal of result dot get of what is alias name I gave? Decimal min value decimal result dot get of max value decimal result dot get of. This is how we are getting the value. Now what is this? I told you it's already standard object. How do you get result dot get of alias? Now when you are getting the result, what is the format in which we are getting the result? When you are getting the result, what is the format in which we are getting the result? When you are getting the result, what is the format in which we are getting the result? I am not sure. That can be a string, that can be integer. There is a reason. Convert them into decimal and show. Are you clear? So any SQL query with aggregate function, any SQL query with aggregate function will give you result in the form of aggregate result. SQL query with aggregate function will give you result in the form of aggregate result. SQL query with aggregate function will give you result in the form of aggregate result. Now let us take an example. I hope people have followed this example. Anyone has any query on that? Let me execute one example. Give you this. Let me execute one example. Aggregate result equal to select max value. Any issue with that? Can you off it for a while? I think projector is heated up. Long press. Off it up. No. Can you call that office bypass? Can you call it office bypass? Can you people shift this side? Last, come this side. This side. Banjay. People move this side. Projector amma. Now, so let us look at this example. Select sum of amount, min of amount, max of amount from opportunity. Then I am trying to take the value decimal total equal to. I was taking the value decimal total equal to result dot get of decimal whatever the alias names I have given, with the help of that alias names I am getting it. This is how we got it. Then I'm trying to print. System.debug. So look at this statement. Anybody has any query on this? Let me know. Look at the statement 1 to 8. If you have any query on these statements, let me know. Go through the statements 1 to 8. If you have any query, let me know. Now, everybody is good with this? Let me execute. Now, opportunity, execute. Go back to this. Debug only. We received a sum, min value, max value. Right. Now, this is how we created it. This is how we created. Now we have a choice here. All the records, whatever I fetched, I have grouped as one set. No, I don't want to group it as one set. I want to subdivide. I want to group them based on the stage name. Now, right now, 100 records came. All the 100 records sum, all the 100 records min, all the 100 records max. Now, I don't want to make a sum of all the 100 records as single set. I want to group them. If you want to group them,
okay.
if you want to group them, how do you group it? Look at the point. List of aggregate result equal to the circle query. Now, why did I write list of aggregate result? When I am grouping it, every group will get separate sum, separate min, max. In this group, sum. In this group, max. In this group, min. So, how you are going to separate? Opportunity. Group by. When you say group by stage name, every group is going to get its corresponding sum, min, max. Every group is going to get corresponding sum, max, min. Now, how many groups we are getting? List of aggregate result. Then how do you write the code? Same story, there is no difference. Only the point is, because it is a list of records, one by one record I will take. Aggregate. Aggregate result. Aggregate result. My list, result I got. Now I am doing here. String stage equal to string. Result dot get off. Now look at this. The stage name is coming in the form of string here. The total is coming in the form of decimal. There is a reason why we are not sure what format of data we are going to get. Right. So, list of aggregate result, take one by one record from the list, get the value. So, look at the line number 10 to 19. If anybody has any issue with this, let me know. Line number 10 to 20.
Satish, it should be mylist.get, right?
Here it should be mylist is a group of records, right? Now
Yeah.
you are supposed to take one by one record. When you have a list, what we do? What is the purpose of writing this loop? You have a group of aggregate result. Take one by one aggregate result. From that aggregate result, we are getting the stage name. Okay, total, min, max. My list is a list. We cannot take the value from the list directly. We have to take one by one value from the list. Then we have to create it.
Yeah, thanks.
10 to 20 statement. Look at the code. Anybody has any query on the statement? Let me know.
Satish, can you just drag that SOQL query?
Opportunity group by field name. Just one extra line. Group by stage. Now, any query from your end? Execute, highlighted. Go back and see. No. Stage name prospecting, sum, min, max. Stage name qualification, sum, min, max. Stage name need analysis, sum, min, max. Stage name value proposition, sum, min, max. Stage wise we got the value. Now let us see the output. Stage name, prospect, sum, min, max. Stage name, min, max. Stage name, min, max. I hope you are good with this. So if you are using a group by class, we are going to get a list of aggregate functions. If you use a group by class, you are going to get a list of aggregate function. Now, whenever we are using a group by, only those fields which are part of, aggregate function or group by, only the data we can fetch it. All of you mute your mics when you join the class. Right. Now, which fields we can fetch it? Only those fields which are part of aggregate functions or which are part of group by. Let us take an example. I have name. Name is not a part of aggregate functions. See here, amount I am using, stage name we are using. So name is not a part of aggregate function. Next, if I write a name, let us see what will happen. What happened? Every field should be a part of aggregate function or group by. Any field you want to query, that field should be a part of aggregate function or a group by. Otherwise, we cannot query it. Any field you want to query, that should be a part of aggregate function or a group by class. Otherwise, we cannot query it. This is the. So I hope everybody is good with aggregate function. Writing a SQL query, getting the result as summarized value, sum of, min of, max of, average of. Whenever we write a SQL query with aggregate functions, we are going to get the result in the form of aggregate result. We are going to get the result in the form of aggregate result. I hope you are good. Clear for everyone? Right. Now, let us do one quick example before I wind up this topic. What a SQL to fetch sum of opportunity amount whose stage name is sum of opportunity amount whose stage name is closed one. write a SOQL to fetch sum of opportunity amount whose stage name is closed one. Sum of opportunity amount whose stage name is closed one. So I hope you're good with this. Right. Right. Let us go to the next one. Then there are few things which you need to understand apart from the SOQL queries. You have written almost all the format of SOQLs you have written. There are few things which you need to consider while going for a interview. One is SOQL injection, then locking the records. There are 2 points which the people will expect from you: SOQL injection, locking the records. Let us go to this. Try to understand the points here. This is purely interview based. What is this SOQL injection? Try to get the point here very clearly. Basically, when you are writing a SOQL query, we are applying a where class. Look at this. Now look at the query what they have given. What is the purpose of this query? What is the purpose of this query? What is the purpose of this query? Now select ID from contact where is deleted equal to false and name like some value percentage. Okay, Bob percentage entry. Now same query was given here. Same query was given here like this. Instead of writing the query like this, if you make it as a dynamic SOQL query, then what will happen? Now you are given name like, you are given a static query like this. My intention was get the records whose name starts with this. Now what is the guarantee that always I use this word? Now you are given a name like, you are given a static query like this. My intention was get the records whose name starts with this. Now what is the guarantee that always I use this word? So every time I change the word, I cannot use this. So wherever there is a possibility, look at the point. Name equal to, so I am giving where name like percentage. Instead of giving these formats, make a dynamic SQL query which can make you to give the result faster and quicker. Make it a dynamic SQL query where query name percentage. Instead of straight away giving the SQL with a static value, we can make it as a dynamic value, dynamic expression and use it. This will reduce. Let me give you, people are in the question mark cases. Okay. Now look at the point. Let me give you the basic understanding of this query. Basic SQL query you have given. What is the query you have given? Select table name from, select the fields from table where condition. Now what we are giving, we are writing a join. Join means in where name in this list, name not in this list, where name in this list, where name is not in this list. We are applying some joins. Where name in the subquery. Now when you are giving like this, where username equal to X, password equal to so and so. Now if we are giving like this, there is a possibility of, because we are giving the value statically, there is a possibility of hard coded value. There are hard coded value. Okay. Now when you give a hard coded value, I can avoid this hard coded value with a dynamic so that I can avoid from what we say, from attacks. Now instead of hard coding the values, why don't we put it as a dynamic SQL query? Why don't we put it as a dynamic SQL query? Why don't we put it as a dynamic SQL query? Now if you are giving a query like this, where title name, some value, title name, where some value you are giving. Instead of making a static query, why don't you put dynamic SQL query? Why don't you put dynamic SQL query? Instead of putting the static SQL, why don't you put dynamic SQL query? Why don't you put dynamic SQL query? Are you getting my point? Instead of putting the static query, why don't you put dynamic SQL query? Now look at this. Just read this statement. I'll explain it. Just read this paragraph. Read this paragraph. What is the purpose of this statement? What is the purpose of this statement? Where class equal to title like the value. This textual title, whatever the value we entered, we are using it. Okay. Now, whatever the data that we are getting from the user interface, directly we are putting into this. Now, every time you modify the value there, the query will modify. Right? Instead of putting it like this, make a dynamic condition. Whatever the possibilities are there, write with the help of and or. Whatever the possibilities are there, write with the help of and or. That will simplify and modify. Okay, avoid the multiple number of modifications. Okay. Right. Basically, let me make it simple. I can understand people are with a lot of question mark faces. Now, look at this program. Check out what is the program is doing about. Look at this program. What this program is trying to do. Select ID from contact where where age deleted equal to false, name like whatever the name you are entering, we are giving it. So whatever the name you are entering here, the same name directly appending here. Am I right? What is the purpose of this? Select ID from the contact where age deleted equal to false and a name like so and so. So get me all the contacts whose name is matching with this name. From where we are entering this name? User interface. Okay. Value can be anything provided by the user. Okay. Value can be anything provided by the user. When the value can be anything from the user, now if it is a tampered data, it goes to vulnerability. Now, suppose if I'm introducing some code here, some code, in the input text box, I'm introducing some code. In the input text box, I can enter whatever I want. Suppose if it is a vulnerable code, if anything that is going to harm the query or anything that is going to harm the interactions, that also will be taken. Anything that you enter is a name for me. Now, what you enter, I entered a JavaScript code. I entered a JavaScript code. The JavaScript code also will be taken as what? Name only. In the input text box, whatever you enter, that is taken as a name. I wrote some code which will attack the database. I wrote the code in the form of JavaScript. I entered in the input text box. Now, whatever we enter in the input text box, what it will do? It will directly take that value. Okay, append this value to SQL query. Now, this code will execute, right? This code will execute because whatever we entered in the input text box, that is taken, added to the string. There is nothing wrong with the form of string query. There is nothing wrong in the form of string query because whatever you entered, I took the data, appended it. So there is a possibility of vulnerability. That's what the people are trying to convey it. Okay, because it is never validated. We never know whether it's a name or not, whether it's a name or any other code what they have entered. So there is a reason this will go for. Right. There is a reason the people say, first, don't go for this directly inducing the value. Okay, go with some particular static format. So instead of writing this dynamically introducing the value, go for this. This will improve the performance of the SQL query and also reduce the effects. Okay, but practically we don't use this. We only go this format. Okay, as per the concept and everything is concerned, if you give this, whatever the value we are entering in the box, I don't know what type of value is that. Is it a string value? Is it some hacker code? Is it some JavaScript? Is it XYZ? We are not sure. Whatever the value we are entering, I am taking it. Now, every time you change the value, query will be formed. There is a performance issue also. If you straight away give the static value, it will be easy for the query to execute. When I say name equal to Ravi, name equal to XYZ, which will run faster? Name equal to Ravi or name equal to colon XYZ? Name equal to Ravi. Static data always gives faster performance, right? And it is more validated. Static query is more validated. Static query is more validated. Static query is more validated compared to the dynamic. That's what they are trying to convey. Wherever there is a possibility, try to go with the static query instead of making pure dynamic query. Instead of making pure dynamic query. Now, look at this. This is what they have given. Where name like query. Instead of giving query like this, select ID from name contact, same query. Look at the same query. Instead of making complete dynamic, make it like this. Both of them are same queries, but formed differently. Let us see the difference. Now, what is the query we had? Both are trying to get the same. Look at this. Where is deleted equal to false and name like percentage name you are given. Now instead of that, name like variable. Don't induce directly like a string. Induce like a variable. Don't induce like a string. Induce like a variable. Both of them are same. Where is deleted equal to false. Name like, instead of straight away giving a dynamic format, try to reduce the dynamic format and use the static format. So whatever we wrote on the top, same thing I wrote here also. But it's okay. I didn't make entire query as a dynamic. We made only part of the query as a dynamic. Use in the place of equal to. When I say equal to, that value is matching, it will run. That code will not run. Are you getting? Only where condition is changing. But here, entire string is changing. In the string, if any vulnerable code is there, that will execute. Because there is a part of the query. But here it is a where condition. So, simple boss. Wherever there is a possibility of achieving it with a static, go with the static. Try to avoid dynamic. It was the basic meaning of the code. Is that was clear? Am I clear? Next point. Okay. This also will be similar type of thing. Now, but you can follow it. Void list of, look at the point. Account ACC. Select ID, name. Then I have some logic I have. Statement 1. Then I told ACC dot rating equal to this is what I did. I have one more method. Both of the methods are trying to work on the same record, right? Now, this is also getting the same record, this is also getting the same record. There are two people who logged in. Ravi logged in. He created an object example dot. One more person is logged in. Kumar. He is also executing some operation. At a time, multiple users will be working. Then we have E dot show. This guy is calling E dot call. Now both of them are working on the same data, right? Both of them are working on the same data. Here my question is, I want to say, boss, until my operation is completed, don't allow anybody to modify this data. Until my operation is completed, don't allow any modification on this data, which I queried. Whatever the data I have written, whatever the data I have fetched through SQL query, on this data, don't allow any changes until the current transaction completed, until the current method is completed. Then how do you log the records? Until my operation is completed, don't allow any modifications on the data which I fetched. Then what we do? Here we write for update. When is it for update? When is it for update? You brought the data and the data is logged. Data is logged. For how much time? 10 seconds. Within the 10 seconds, if the lock is released within the 10 seconds, then this operation will run. Within the 10 seconds, if the lock is not released, then it will throw error message. You cannot update. Now I log the data and you are trying to modify it. It will wait for 10 seconds. Within that 10 seconds, if this lock is released, then this operation will continue, make the changes. After 10 seconds, if the lock is not released, then your modification will throw error message. You cannot modify it. Are you getting? Now, how do you lock it? For update. When I say SQL query for update, whatever the data we are fetching using SQL, that is logged. Nobody can modify it until my transaction is completed. How long? I will wait 10 seconds. It gives 10 seconds, sir. Okay, are you getting my point? I will log the records. I am making a changes. Okay, I am making my operation. Now, meanwhile, if anybody is trying to modify the same data, okay, they will wait for 10 seconds. Even after 10 seconds, if the lock is not released, your modifications will throw error message. Did you get my point? Now, when Ravi logged, Ravi called show, then show method wrote a SQL query, data is logged. At the same time, Kumar called call me. Then it has seen that lock is applied on it. So Kumar will wait for 10 seconds. After 10 seconds, lock is released, Kumar operation is successful. After 10 seconds, if lock is not released, Kumar operation will fail. Not Ravi. Kumar operation will fail. Did you get my point? Ravi called the operation, SQL query is running. I told for update. That means the data, what we are fetching using the SQL query is logged. Data, what we are fetching using the SQL query is logged. The data, what we are fetching using the SQL query is logged. Till what time? Until that method is completed. Meanwhile, if anybody is trying to modify the same data, then if lock is done, they'll wait for 10 seconds. Even after 10 seconds, if the lock is not released, then it throws error message. Is that was clear for everyone? Right? This is locking your data from getting modified. What is the statement you have to give? For update. What is the statement we have to give? For update. What is the statement? For update. I hope you are good. Clear for everyone? Clear for everyone? Okay. Next. The next interview question that is asked. People is generally asked, what is this injection? What is this? Okay, how do you log the records? How many records can be fetched in a SQL query? Let me give you one quick example for you. Try to understand. This is the wrong notion that people have. I told SQL query will give you 50,000 records. Okay. Look at this. Listen carefully, boss. List of account. List of contacts. Now, when I say 50,000 records, all the SQL queries together, 50,000 records. If there is only one SQL query, that one SQL query will give you 50,000 records. If there are a group of SQL queries, all of them together will give you 50,000 records. Did you get my point? If there are only one SQL query, that one SQL query itself will give you 50,000 records. If there are multiple SQL queries in the method, all the SQL queries together will give you 50,000 records. Within a single method, there is only one SQL query. That query will give you 50,000 records. If there are multiple SQL queries, all the SQL queries together will give you 50,000 records. Now let us see this example. Execute. No. Look at this. How many records came? 67 out of 50. How many SQL queries you can run? 3 SQL queries out of 1. Within one method, only 100 SQL queries I can write. Within a method, how many SQL queries? 100 SQL queries. Okay. How many records it is going to give you? 50,000 records. How many records it is going to give you? 50,000 records. 50,000 in a transaction. In a method, all the SQL queries together can give you 50,000 records. If there is only one SQL query, that SQL query will give you 50,000. If there are multiple SQL queries, all of them together 50,000. Look at this, 67 out of 50,000. Now look at the account object. In account object, how many records I have? How many we have? 60. Contact 20, 36. How many? 31. 36 plus 31, 67. All the three SQL queries together, 67. If there is only one, that will give you 50. It is a combination of multiple SQL queries. All of them together will give you 50,000 records. Okay. Next. Now, I told within a method, so how many times the SQL query will run? 60 times it is going to run. And it is calling a method called show. Now, how many SQL queries are running in the call me method? Now, if somebody call this method, example E equal to E dot call me. When I say E dot call me method has 60 plus. So it will give you error. Why? Within a method, maximum how many SQL queries we can write? That is the reason it is always a good practice not to write a SQL within a loop. Always the good practice of writing a SQL queries, try to avoid writing SQL queries within a loop. So the good practice of SQL queries, try to avoid writing a SQL query in the loop. Okay. Right, boss? I hope you got the point. When you say transaction, all the SQL queries within the transaction together, it can be 100. If it is more than 100, it throws error message. If it is more than 100, it throws error message. Okay. Now let us go to the next. Let us go to the next. Look at the point. Now, I have list of, I'll show it here. List of account. First query. Then I'm giving, listen to the point carefully, boss. These all are certifications. Contact where, account ID in. Now what does it mean? Get me all the contacts of those accounts whose industry is energy. Am I right? I wrote a SQL query to fetch account IDs. Then I told, get me all the contacts where account ID is in that list. If I execute this, how many SQL queries are running here? If I run like this, how many SQL queries are running? 2 SQL queries. 2 out of 100 SQL queries. How many records are coming? 11 records are coming. Okay. How many records are coming? 11 records. Now, when you say 11 records, now get the clarity on this. Execute. 2 SQL queries are running, 11 records are coming. 11 records means 4 here, and 7 there. So 4 accounts, 7. 4 accounts, 7 contacts. Right. So count of accounts, count of contacts together 11 they are given. So they are considering every query is separate. Now number of records are 4, number of records are 7. The same SQL query, if I write it like this, where ID in this is what I did. Both are same. Where account ID is in this, right. Now let us go back to this, execute this query. How many SQL queries? 1 SQL queries. How many records? Right. Now the point, the advantage of writing a parent to child or child to parent SQL query is they only consider parent record count. They will not consider the child record count. Now when you are getting this, look at the part, how many records? 7. The same query previously, 7 plus, how many SQL queries are running? 1. So when you are writing your transaction, in case if you are getting a governing limits problem, saying that 100 queries are crossed, then I can reduce the queries like this. The count of number of SQL queries can be reduced like this. Are you getting my point here? Are you getting my point? Am I clear with this? Okay. Now the same query. Now, the people will ask me, list of accounts equal to select ID, name. This I can achieve with multiple SQL queries. Instead of writing a parent to child, I can write multiple SQL queries. So total how many accounts are there? 16 accounts are there. Now execute this query, parent to child SQL query. When you go to parent to child SQL query, the count considers 1 out of 100. Now the count is 67. So 67 is count of accounts, child, parents. Now the number of, look at this, when you are writing where in, it is not considered against the count, only result is taken. Whereas when you write parent to child, number of SQL queries are 1, but total number of records are count of parent plus count of child plus count of child 1, child 2, child 3 together. But number of SQL queries are 1. So if you want to avoid, if you want to reduce the count of number of SQL queries based on your requirement, you need to go for this parent to child, child to parent, or where clauses in subqueries. Okay, now I told you can only write 100 SQL query, but if you are crossing the 100, how will you resolve it? As per your transaction, already 100 SQL queries are crossed. Now you have to improve the performance. You have to reduce the number of SQL queries. What do you do? These are some of the use cases where we can use. Instead of writing a separate query for account, child, write a parent child SQL query. Instead of writing a separate query for account and contact, write a child to parent SQL query. Instead of writing a query and using wherein variable, write a wherein subquery. This is how we can resolve the issue with the SQL queries. Count of number of SQL queries. I hope you are good with this. Now, what are the good practices we have? Try to avoid SQL queries within the loop. Try to avoid the SQL queries within the loop. I hope you are good. Now, I will give one use case. Try your knowledge on that. Right. Now, if you implement this, you are good with the SQL queries. So, the day you implement this query, you are good with SQL query. Now, look at the point. Object. Create a pick list here. You create a pick list create some objects, account, contact, whatever it is. Now I created here account fields. So whichever the object I have selected, the fields has to come here. If I select account fields will come here. Now select some of the fields, click on this button, those fields will add here. Select any one of the field, click on this button. Now whichever the object is selected, the list of fields will come here. Okay, whichever the fields I selected here, they will be added to this list. Now what is your query? Select a name phone from account. Do you know which object you are going to select? We are not sure. Do you know which fields you are going to select? Don't know. Now based on this, write a query, get the data. How will you achieve? First create a map. Object name as a key, object fields as a value. Create a object name as a map, object name as a key, object fields as a value. So what is the map here? Map of string comma list of. Get all the keys. Create a pick list value. Okay, at least to make it simple for you, I'll remove this option. List of fields are coming. Out of these fields, which are the fields you are selecting, those fields should be filled. Now, whichever the object you have selected, based on the object, get the corresponding value. What is the value? If you select the object fields, key is the object name, value is the fields. If I give the object name, we get the list of fields. Whatever the list of fields are coming, that will be displayed in this pick list. Now, whichever the fields I have selected, those fields has to be queried. Select a name, phone, industry from account. Are you getting? So try how you can achieve this. Now it is a combination of map, list, dynamic SQL query, and your map, pick list, dynamic SQL query. Map, pick list, dynamic SQL query. Try out this example. I hope the requirement is clear. I hope the requirement is clear, boss. Requirement is clear. Now create a map with the object name as a key and a list of field as a value. First get all the keys, create them like a pick list. Then whichever the object is selected, based on that object, get the corresponding list of fields displayed in the pick list. Whatever the fields is selected, then write the SQL query on the fields, display the data. Try out this example from your end. Okay. Tomorrow we'll start the email operation. Try out this example from your end. That's all from my end. See you all in the session.